All right, if you completed the Articles of Confederation versus the Constitution assignment, you received full credit, but I wanted to make sure to go over it with you all so that you knew some of the possible answers just for reference as you all head toward your exam next week. So let's look at the structural differences between the Articles and the Constitution. So under the Articles, it was a confederation, so it was that loose league of friendship between states. Remember, states are going to retain their sovereignty. Under the Constitution, it sets up a republic or a representative democracy. So remember, the people are going to hold the power. They're going to be able to vote for their leaders in free and fair elections. Under the Articles, the primary power is given to the states. Okay, so the states are going to hold the power. However, under the Constitution, the primary power is going to be given to the federal government or the national government. But keep in mind that there is going to be that system of federalism that's going to divide the power between the national government and the state government. So the states are still going to hold some power. The legislature under the Articles was a unicameral Congress. So that means there was just one chamber of Congress, whereas under the Constitution, it was a bicameral Congress. So it's going to set up the House and the Senate that we have today. We didn't talk about congressional term lengths, but you can look at that there. Voting in Congress, so there was one vote per representative or per state, regardless of the size of the state under the Articles. So every state got one vote, whereas voting in Congress under the Constitution, one senator gets a vote, one representative gets a vote, and remember that the House of Representatives is going to be based on state population. There was no chief executive under the Articles, no president, just Congress, whereas under the Constitution, it's going to set up that executive branch and that president position. The amendment process, okay, so under the Articles, it's going to require a unanimous vote of all states to amend the Articles, and that's why they didn't just amend the Articles instead of making this new Constitution. It was so difficult to make an amendment to the Articles of Confederation because all 13 states had to agree on it. Now, the amendment process under the Constitution, and we'll talk more about that this week, is a 2/3 proposal by Congress with ratification by 3/4 of the states. Under the Articles, there is no federal judiciary, whereas the Constitution is going to set up the Supreme Court. Scroll on down. Let's look at the weaknesses of the Articles and how the Constitution is going to address those. So remember that the federal government did not have the ability to tax, so they are not able to pay those debts from the Revolutionary War. The only way they're going to be able to get money is if the states give them money, and most states are not going to do that. However, the Constitution is going to give Congress the power to tax in Article 1. Number 2, the federal government did not have the ability to raise and maintain an army and a navy. So they had that power, but again, they can't tax the states, so they're not getting any kind of funding, so they can't pay members of the military. So they are not able to maintain an army and a navy. In Article 1 of the Constitution, Congress is given power to raise and maintain an army and a navy. Number 3, states were able to coin their own money, and that's going to cause confusion between states because they're going to have different money. Congress is given the power to coin money in the Constitution. No state can print their own. Number 4, the federal government did not have the power to regulate interstate commerce under the Articles. So again, that's going to complicate foreign policy. We talked a little bit about that. And it says under the Constitution that the Commerce Clause is going to give Congress the power to regulate interstate and foreign commerce. So the federal government gets that power under the Constitution. The passage of laws under the Articles is going to require the approval of 9 of 13 states, whereas under the Constitution, the passage of laws is going to require a simple majority vote from the House and Senate. There was no real executive branch to enforce the laws under the Articles. So remember, it was just Congress. Whereas under the Constitution, it is going to establish the executive branch to enforce the laws. So that is just the answers to this. If you want to watch this video and reference it again before you take your exam next week.